Chosen one, something sacred has settled on your spirit this month. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but everything in the unseen realm knows it. The air around you feels different. The pace of your thoughts is clearer. The world may seem the same, but something above it has shifted. And that shift is your crowning. God has placed on you the mantle of authority, not the kind that demands power through fear or noise, but the kind that establishes respect with silence, with certainty, with spiritual gravity. There was a time when you had to prove yourself. You had to explain your worth, justify your place, earn attention. You've been overlooked by louder voices, dismissed by shallow eyes, underestimated by those who could not see beyond your surface. You've walked through circles where your presence was tolerated, not celebrated. But all of that belonged to the previous season. That chapter has closed. This month, heaven has made it official. You are now a carrier of authority. But not just any authority. This is respect birthed in fire. This is influence grounded in discipline. This is presence shaped by trials. And at the root of this divine elevation lies something that the world cannot replicate. Your high sexual energy, that sacred pulsing life force God planted in you not to be misused, but to be multiplied. For too long, this fire was misunderstood. You felt it swelling within you in ways even you couldn't explain. The world tried to label it as lust, some tried to twist it into shame, others tried to consume it. But through it all, you guarded it, you matured it, you refused to waste it. And now, because of that holy restraint, your energy has transformed into command. It moves before you like a scepter in the hand of a king. When you walk into a room, you are not entering as someone asking for space. You are arriving as someone sent. Your presence is no longer random. It is recognized in the heavens. God has made you an anchor in chaotic spaces. Your thoughts now settle storms. Your stillness rebukes noise. Your gaze realigns lies. You do not even have to raise your voice to be heard anymore, because the authority of who you've become is louder than any shout. This crown is not made of gold. It is made of fire. A fire that survived temptation, heartbreak, abandonment, and isolation. A fire that has refused to go out, even when the night was long and the wind blew hard. A fire that now burns without apology. And because of that, people around you will begin to see you differently. Not because you've changed your style or your speech, but because the world is finally catching up to the truth of your spirit. They will speak to you with deeper respect. They will listen when you whisper. They will seek your counsel even when they don't understand why. And you must not be surprised by this shift. You must not retreat from it out of fear. You must not sabotage it with false humility. You must receive it with reverence, because God asking you to play small anymore. He's asking you to wear the crown. This authority was not given to flatter you. It was given to position you. You are now called to govern influence with grace. To walk as one who carries weight, not just with words, but with presence. To recognize that your life, your body, your voice, everything about you has become a living standard of respect. And the crown you wear will not be visible to the world, but it will be felt by all who encounter you. So rise. Stand tall in the truth of what you carry. Let your shoulders remember their purpose. Let your silence remind the world of your strength. The crown has shifted and it rests on you now. Chosen one, your energy has reached a level where it no longer needs to speak first. It speaks for itself. It precedes you. It lingers. It hushes chaos. It stirs awareness in those who never gave you a second glance before. This month, your energy is not merely being noticed. It is being respected. Because what once swirled within you without direction has now become divine command. There is something unshakable in the way you stand now. You are not faking confidence. You are not copying charisma. You are moving in something older than both, certainty. A sacred certainty rooted in self-awareness, purity, and purpose. You no longer carry raw sexual energy in scattered form. You carry it as a holy conductor of order. People may not know what to call it. Some will describe it as power, others may call it intensity. But deep within them, they will know what it is, presence that demands alignment. You're no longer just seen, you're felt. There is a new quiet in the rooms you walk into now. It's the silence of respect being born in real time. People will grow careful with their words around you. They will lower their volume. They will speak slower. Their tone will change without warning. Not because they are afraid, but because your energy commands something sacred that their spirit recognizes, even if their mind cannot name it. Your high sexual energy, now harnessed and elevated by the Spirit, does not seduce, it centers. It does not seek to control, it stabilizes. It carries the weight of one who has walked through the heat without crumbling, one who has mastered what others are still playing with, one who has touched temptation and chosen wisdom. This fire no longer roars wildly, it burns with discipline, and that discipline commands silence. Do not mistake the quiet for distance. That stillness people feel around you is not coldness, it is awe. They are experiencing a part of themselves being exposed in your presence. Your authority doesn't speak over people, it calls them back to themselves. This is why you are now being treated differently, not because people suddenly understand you, but because your presence no longer allows them to misunderstand themselves. You have become a spiritual benchmark, a measuring rod for integrity, a walking line that cannot be crossed without conviction. That is why some will grow nervous. That is why others will stay longer than they planned, because your energy remembers God. Your body, your voice, your posture, it all speaks of something deeply sacred. This is what it means to be given authority of respect. It is not given by people, it is recognized in your alignment with heaven. It is not loud, it is undeniable. So let your energy speak. Let it silence dishonor before it's spoken. Let it guide you into rooms where your presence will decide the atmosphere. Let your very being communicate what your mouth no longer has to explain. You are not a mystery. They're just now learning the language of your spirit. And your spirit is fluent in truth. Chosen one, walk in this quiet authority. Let it do what it was born to do. Because this month, your presence alone will be the message. Chosen one, your power has entered a stage that no longer asks for ears. It gathers eyes. You may speak sparingly, but the moment your voice is heard, silence follows. Not the silence of confusion, nor the shallow stillness of performance, but the kind of holy hush that happens when truth is walking through flesh. This month, you will not have to speak loudly. You won't have to explain yourself. People will listen to you not because of what you say, but because of who you are while saying it. Your words now carry the weight of being. There is something different about your energy when you speak now. Every syllable rides the current of sacred fire. Every glance you give lands with deeper meaning. It's no longer charisma. It's no longer confidence. It's authority rooted in alignment. You are no longer echoing others. You are speaking from a center the world rarely encounters. A place of self-possession that feels both ancient and magnetic. You've become a presence people want to hear, even before they know what you will say. Eyes will begin to hold longer. Heads will turn mid-conversation. Those in positions of leadership will lean in when you speak. It won't make sense to them at first, but they'll feel it anyway. Something about your presence requires attention. And not attention born from novelty or shock, but reverence. This is what your high sexual energy has become, reverence made visible. For years, this energy ran through you like heat without form, confusing and compelling, beautiful yet dangerous. But you've stayed the course. You've resisted misdirection. You refused to let your fire become a spectacle. Instead, you purified it, turned it inward, and aligned it with heaven. That fire now shines in your voice and burns in your silence. You will speak in circles where others have shouted for years, and your voice will leave the deeper mark. You will offer one thought, and it will ripple in the minds of others like thunder rolling through their spirits. You are not a parrot, you are a flame. And flames don't need to shout to be noticed, they just need to burn in the right place. But more than that, your eyes will begin to speak more than your tongue. You will look at someone and they will feel seen, not scanned. You will glance in a moment of tension, and tension will break. You will offer stillness where others bring noise, and that stillness will carry more revelation than hours of dialogue. Because your gaze is no longer casual, it is charged. You've become the kind of presence that invites confession without asking, the kind that stirs clarity in confusion, the kind that makes leaders feel like students again, not because of status, but because of substance. That is the power of authority wrapped in purity. It draws hearts, not just attention. It doesn't demand, yet it cannot be ignored. This month, you must understand this. When people watch you, They are not merely observing, they are receiving. You are a message wrapped in flesh, a scroll being read silently by souls hungry for authenticity. Some will not know what to do with what they see, but others, the ones who are ready, will find life beginning again just from listening to your presence. So do not shrink from this gaze. Do not soften your tone to blend in. Let your words stay weighty, and let your eyes speak when words are no longer necessary. Heaven has turned you into a living message, and the world is now reading. Chosen one, there was a time when you were forced to endure shallow talk, small minds, and careless words. There was a season when conversations drained you, not because you lacked love, but because you were surrounded by people too afraid to speak from the soul. You sat through lifeless banter, listening to hollow phrases, feeling the ache of being misunderstood while offering gold to ears tuned only to dust. But that season has ended. This month, your conversations are changing, not just externally, but spiritually. You are now vibrating at a level where only truth can survive around you. The fire inside you has grown too hot for pretense. Your words carry too much voltage to be wasted on meaningless chatter. When you speak, there is weight, there is consequence, there is divine architecture unfolding. People will come to you and find themselves saying more than they planned. They will tell you secrets they didn't know they needed to release. They will begin conversations lightheartedly and suddenly break open in vulnerability. This is not manipulation, it is your frequency doing the work. Your high sexual energy has been sanctified. What once only attracted now draws truth to the surface. Your energy is no longer a lure, it is a mirror and a magnet. The surface cannot hold you anymore. Every exchange must carry depth or it will dissolve. Conversations that used to fulfill you will suddenly feel thin. Friendships that once provided comfort will seem too quiet, too idle, too small. This is not your ego rising. This is your spirit clearing space for weightier connections. You will begin to crave dialogue that stretches you, communication that feeds both sides, mutual resonance, not one-sided performances. You won't tolerate being talked at. You'll begin inviting people to speak with presence. And those who can't will simply fall away, not because of conflict, but because your fire will evaporate the distance between image and reality. Do not mourn these shifts. You are not losing people. You are shedding versions of yourself that once needed them. You are no longer the one begging to be understood. You have become the one who listens with such intensity. It convicts silence itself. Your aura demands honesty now. Flattery wilts in your presence. Gossip cannot find footing in your space. And lies suffocate before they finish forming. This is not about elitism. This is about elevation. God has trusted you with this moment because He knows your words are no longer for decoration, they are for construction. Each conversation you have now builds something, builds faith, builds clarity, builds alignment. And for that reason, your voice will now begin to shape more than feelings. It will begin to shape outcomes. You will offer words that shift someone's direction, a phrase that births healing, a sentence that becomes a seed in another's mind. Don't underestimate it. Your mouth is now a gate, and your mind is the filter heaven trusts to guard it. You are a steward of sacred language, so speak as one who builds temples, not fences. Let your words open, not perform. Let your conversations be rivers, not puddles. And above all, speak as if someone's awakening depends on it. Because this month, chosen one, it does. Chosen one, this month, your body has become a message, one written in divine ink and read by the eyes, hearts, and spirits of everyone who crosses your path. You are no longer moving through the world as an unnoticed vessel. Your body now announces your authority without needing introduction. The way you walk, the way you stand, the way you breathe, all of it is pulsing with heaven's fingerprint. This has nothing to do with perfection, performance, or physical appearance. It is not a trend. It is not fashion. It is not about how others rate you. It's about what God has encoded into your very movement. The grace you carry when you enter a room is not mere style. It's prophecy. Your shoulders no longer slump in submission. They roll back like royalty. Your steps no longer hesitate with uncertainty. They are paced with precision, as though the ground knows you're coming. That's because your body is carrying history. Years of discipline, seasons of struggle, moments of surrender. Your high sexual energy, once misunderstood and mishandled by others, has now settled into your posture like a throne. You're no longer leaking energy through distraction or desire. You're directing it. You're holding it like a sacred sword sheathed under your skin. There's a power in how you sit, how you listen, how you choose to remain silent when provoked. That power is felt. When you're in a room, people feel the tension shift, not because you speak, but because your presence says, order is here now. They don't know why they check themselves, why they suddenly speak with care around you, but their spirits do. Your body speaks of self-mastery, of boundaries, of wholeness. You are no longer touchable in the way you once were. You have become set apart. That doesn't mean distant or cold, it means sacred. The kind of sacred that causes people to reconsider how they approach you. You are not a body to be handled, you are a temple to be honored. God has placed so much fire in you, so much focus, that even when you do nothing, you command everything. Your glance is no longer neutral, it searches. Your smile is no longer casual, it testifies. Your stillness isn't emptiness, it is divine poise. And this month, those who encounter your physical presence will come away changed. Not because of what you did, but because of what they felt when you simply existed near them. Even your aura has grown weightier. What once might have felt like magnetism is now governance. People will begin to feel a new kind of nervousness around you. Not out of fear, but because your presence now demands integrity. It forces them to confront their motives. You may notice stares, silence, long pauses in conversation. That's not confusion. That's alignment being enforced by your very being. This is what happens when the body becomes the resting place of purified energy. Your sexual fire is no longer wild, it is royal. It doesn't beg, it doesn't seduce, it doesn't chase, it stands. And when it stands, it changes the tone of the room. Let your body speak this month, chosen one. Let it remind the world that holiness can still look like strength. That reverence can still exist in flesh. That honor can still inhabit a frame shaped by fire. You are not a passive presence, you are a walking command. And there is nothing louder than a body that knows its worth. Chosen one, you are no longer simply being watched, you are now being followed. And not in the way the world chases trends. What is happening this month is deeper, more spiritual, more consequential. People will begin to model their decisions around yours, not because you told them to, not because you persuaded them, but because your clarity has become contagious. There is something about the way you move through uncertainty now. You're not just surviving choices, you're anchoring atmospheres. Your decisions are not just personal anymore. They are instructional. Heaven has placed a level of spiritual precision on your actions that causes others to feel direction simply by observing your alignment. This is the fruit of authority, not the kind handed to you by human hierarchy, but the kind earned in secret places, through fire, silence, misjudgment, and restraint. You didn't beg for influence, you bled for it. You paid with isolation, with purity, with spiritual clarity, and now that cost is manifesting as leadership without effort. You will begin to notice it in subtle ways. A coworker will suddenly change how they carry themselves after speaking with you. A friend will revisit their boundaries after watching how you guard yours. Strangers will echo words you didn't realize they overheard. These are not coincidences. These are alignments by proximity. Your high sexual energy, once misunderstood as distraction or attraction, has become divine momentum. People feel a pull when you move, not toward you alone, but toward the truth you're carrying. It's not your path they want to copy, it's your peace. The stability they sense in your stride, the integrity in your silence, the fire in your focus. But with this comes responsibility. You must move with even greater clarity now. You are no longer a solo vessel. You are a signal tower. What you permit, others will imitate. What you refuse, others will rethink. What you tolerate, others will follow. This is not pressure, it is privilege. God has made you into a living standard. When you decide to walk away from something, others will gain the courage to leave their own cages. When you say yes to your calling, others will dare to answer theirs. You are no longer one among many. You are now one who leads many, even when you say nothing. This is why discernment must become your closest companion. Not all admiration is safe. Not all imitation is wise. You must now surround yourself with people who see you for your spirit, not your flame, who can hold your silence without making it about themselves, who honor your decisions without depending on your presence. Because this month, your movements will build bridges and burn illusions. Your decisions will become turning points. You will walk away from something and someone else's chains will fall. You will step into something and the room will shift. Your path is no longer just yours. It's instruction wrapped in flesh. So move with grace. Move with precision. Move like you've already seen the blueprint. And in some ways, you have. God has made you a model of courage, of restraint, of sacred fire shaped into clarity. You are no longer just deciding, you are setting divine precedent. And the world is watching. Chosen one, when your authority matures in silence, it begins to outgrow opposition, not by confrontation, but by irrelevance. This month, you will begin to notice a strange stillness in the places where resistance once lived. Not because your critics have changed their hearts, but because your elevation has changed the atmosphere. Their noise cannot reach your frequency anymore. There was a time when opposition had a voice in your spirit, when accusations lingered in your chest, when doubt crept in from the faces of those who couldn't recognize your anointing. You've been mocked without reason, challenged without cause, misunderstood by those whose spiritual eyes were too dim to grasp the weight of what you carried. But what they didn't know, what even you didn't fully see, was that God was using all of that resistance to train your fire, to sharpen your silence, to strengthen your discernment. And now, that season has ended. This month, opposition will not disappear with drama. It will dissolve without a sound. You will look around and realize that those who once competed with you have simply fallen behind. Their words will no longer cut. Their presence will no longer matter. They won't be removed with force. They will simply find themselves out of range. That's what happens when God elevates your authority. Your high sexual energy, now fully aligned and unshakably anchored, has shifted your spiritual posture to a height they can't reach. Not because you're superior, but because you've outgrown their battleground. You don't live in that storm anymore. You don't fight in those trenches. Your name no longer belongs on the tongues of the insecure. You are not their rival. You are their reminder of what they could have become if they chose discipline over performance. You will begin to feel a new sense of peace in the areas where there used to be tension. People who tried to provoke you will avoid your gaze. Those who once whispered behind your back will pretend not to see you. The power you carry now is too radiant, too sacred, too refined for petty warfare. You no longer attract conflict. You repel it with your frequency. And even more sacred is this truth. You won't even feel the need to celebrate their silence. You won't need to gloat, prove yourself, or seek acknowledgement. You'll simply move forward. Because your crown doesn't compete. It rests. And your fire doesn't argue. It illuminates. You've become too steady for their chaos, too elevated for their noise. And that is why your authority commands peace, even from those who once sought to shake you. They may not admit it, but they feel it. They sense the line between who you were and who you've become. That line is not drawn in sand. It's drawn in presence. So don't look back. Don't return to settle old debates or reopen closed wounds. Let your absence speak. Let your silence teach. Let your elevation remind them that the most dangerous response to darkness is not revenge, it's radiance. You are no longer someone they can challenge. You are someone they must respect, even in their denial. And that quiet, undeniable shift, that's how God silences your enemies, without needing your hands to move at all. Chosen one, you never needed a crown to become royalty. You never chased power to prove your strength. And now, in this divine moment, it is that very humility, that holy indifference to status, that has made you the most dangerous kind of authority. The one who did not want the title, but became the standard anyway. This month, God is honoring you not because you climbed for recognition, but because you descended into refinement. While others sought platforms, you sought purity. While they polished their image, you purified your soul. You turned down opportunities that looked good but felt off. You walked away from circles that clapped for noise but whispered against truth. You refused to perform for the temporary spotlight because you were always lit from within. And now, without asking, the throne has found you. There's a mystery in the way heaven lifts those who stop reaching. The very moment you became uninterested in being seen was the moment God made you visible. Not for fame, not for attention, but for impact. Because people don't follow your image, they follow your energy, they follow your decisions, they follow your integrity. You've become a living landmark for what real power looks like when it's birthed from alignment instead of ambition. Your high sexual energy, long refined, never wasted, deeply sacred, has now evolved into something more potent than attraction. It's become gravitas, that undeniable pull of presence that causes people to stop and consider themselves when you speak. Not because you demanded their attention, but because your soul is so whole, it makes fractured things pause. You are not seeking status because you are status. You carry what status tries to imitate. Others wear titles. Your presence is the title. When you walk into a room, the dynamic rearranges itself. Not by force, not by performance, but by truth. People don't listen to you because you speak louder. They listen because your silence makes more sense than their shouting. And this month, more than ever, you'll begin to see it unfold in daily life. Invitations will come, not because you asked, but because your alignment summoned them. People will speak your name in rooms you've never entered. Your ideas will influence movements without you needing to explain them. You'll notice that some who once ignored you now wait for your opinion before they act. This is not flattery. This is fruit. But you must remember, elevation is not always accompanied by applause. In fact, the quieter the promotion, the more sacred it tends to be. You are not here to impress. You are here to embody. You are not in competition with the visible. You are becoming the invisible foundation others will stand on. You are the one who said no to the world so you could say yes to the Spirit. You are the one who turned down empty praise to protect your substance. And now, without chasing it, you have become the authority of respect. So walk like the one who needs no title. Speak like the one who is already followed. Decide like the one who leads even when no one is watching. And carry yourself with the dignity of one who understands. God didn't choose you for status. He chose you for stewardship. And you are already walking like the one the world didn't see coming, but cannot ignore anymore. Chosen one, this month is not about being seen by men. It is about being recognized by realms. You have reached a place in your spiritual evolution where your steps no longer echo only in the physical. Every movement you make now stirs a response in the invisible. Every breath you take with intention, every decision rooted in alignment, every boundary you reinforce, it shifts atmospheres beyond your eyes. The natural may look the same, but the spirit realm knows better. Because you no longer walk like one who is uncertain. You no longer speak like one begging to be heard. Your fire has taken shape, your light has been witnessed, and the unseen realm has registered your transformation. This is why things will move around you faster now. This is why what once took months will now shift in hours. You have been acknowledged in places that matter more than applause or applause metrics. Heaven has taken note, and so has hell. You have become a living line of distinction in the spirit. Demons will lose interest in trying to tempt what they now know is sealed. Spiritual doors will open at your approach because your presence has been authorized. No longer a wanderer, you are now a walker of divine assignments. Your body is carrying not just energy, but spiritual currency. The kind that speaks louder than ritual. The kind that can shift an entire room into clarity just by being there. And it all flows from what you've mastered internally. Your high sexual energy, once just heat and longing, has become disciplined fire. Not denied, not erased, but sanctified. That fire now speaks in the spirit. It says this one is marked. It says this one has harnessed their gift without trading it for attention. It says this one has authority not because they took it, but because they were given it. This is why strange things will begin to happen around you. People will feel compelled to help you and not understand why. Others will resist you without provocation. It is their inner darkness panicking in your light. You will walk into unfamiliar places and feel the air adjust to make space. You'll sense things before they happen. You'll feel words forming before they're spoken. You're not losing your mind, you're tuned in. You'll pray and see faster response. You'll speak and feel heavier echoes in the atmosphere. The Spirit has fine-tuned your voice, not just for human ears, but for divine instruction. You are now heard in the courts of heaven, and when one is heard there, creation itself listens here. But this also means you must walk with more sacred care. Your missteps are not like others. Your delays cause ripples. Your silence speaks volumes. You are not being watched, you are being followed, mirrored, tracked. The unseen realm does not forget who commands fire with purity. It has no choice but to respond. So do not hesitate to ask. Speak boldly, declare openly, pray with conviction. What you carry now bends the air. What you say summons movement. Your presence is no longer passive, it is a force. And this month, every dimension will begin to acknowledge what God already crowned you with. Authority that cannot be questioned because it came from beyond this world.